December 28th marked exactly 1 year straight of uploading daily videos onto YouTube. It certainly was an experiment and an experience at that, one I won't forget. The effort I had put forth to rise to being able to do it was definitely important to me. However, the things I had to do to keep it afloat meant small sacrifices and long nights to fulfill my goals, something that really turned out to not be worth it in the grand scheme of things. I'll explain all of these in just a bit. This is my perspective after uploading every single day for 1 whole year. I really didn't know what to do visually for this video because it's mostly me reading a video essay, so I guess listen and enjoy me driving around Vice City. I'll start this off with the obviousness that just like millions of other gamers and content creators, the onslaught of the pandemic brought us to taking up hobbies, or like me, picking up old hobbies, and for me, it took to relaunching my off-again, on-again YouTube channel. Long story short is I had a few series of things running, including a Minecraft survival series that I picked back up. Before relaunching the channel, I and another content creator agreed to create a series for both of our channels and did so, relaunching both channels about the same time with the series in hand. That person and series, of course, was Volan's and the Pokemon Emerald Randomizer series that we did back in the spring and summer of 2020. Eventually, I adopted a 5-day schedule of uploads, taking the weekends off for myself. As things got more normalized and explorative, I thankfully started to grow again as time went on. And as Social Blade can illustrate, and if my memory serves, within the calendar year of 2020, I had gained about 300 or so subscribers. Even with a forced break in November when my PC's power supply died, the year was still successful overall. The recent motivation had of course made me want to do more for my channel, and eventually I decided that I was going to start uploading daily. I realistically had the time to do it, and I figured I'd give it a shot. I always had time too, I just decided that I should do so. I also figured as well that the YouTube algorithm would likely applaud such, something that's really never been confirmed or denied. Everyone, including myself, always says that you should worry about the quality of your videos over the quantity, but with the time I felt I had on my hands, unbeknownst to me at the time, that this was actually time that was being sacrificed to make time for content creation, that allowed me to make quality content on the daily, increasing both quality and quantity, at least in my opinion. And I would say that I am proud and happy with the quality of my videos consistently, as I've always kind of been into doing creative things, and this is just one of many avenues I've explored in my life. I've been into music and film as well in the past, so gaming and video creation is just one of my many outlets and something I do enjoy. And just like anyone or anything you hear about that's on a deadline, some sacrifices had to be made to meet them. Given that my deadline in the year was that I had to have an upload every single day of the year, it of course did come with an added stress. I did take days off recording and editing sometimes, but that of course came at a cost. In essence, just like Isaac Newton said, but completely out of context here, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction, and that reigned true here. I could take a day off, sure, but then I would be behind, or be forced to record and edit multiple videos in one day, and if it led me to taking a nap while something was rendering on my PC, so be it. Just like many, YouTube and content creation is not the only thing I do, and so just like the majority of people, I work, have a job, and have to do that before all else so I can afford to, eat, keep a roof over my head, that sort of thing. Having to meet these deadlines, of course, meant that I had to work around my already existing work schedule, which, unlike content creation, was at least consistent. Sometimes, as I've kind of alluded to already, that meant sacrificing sleep, staying up late into the night to record or edit, and then wake up for work the next morning tired. On top of that, being that my job is as a business-to-business salesman for computing equipment, yeah, there's a little fun fact about my personal life for you. In order to be a good salesman, I have to be pretty educated, and so, like I did this year, I have to occasionally go back to school to learn things, not on my dime, but nonetheless, that also does take time. So, in summary, every day I had to make a schedule in my head that gave me time to either go to work, work on my schoolwork, take care of my personal responsibilities like bills and such, take care of my dog, among other things, all the while striving to keep my consistent 7-day-a-week upload schedule. This sounds absolutely insane, but I was actually able to accomplish it. Now let's talk about a few other obstacles that got in my way, but were still not impossible to overcome. Throughout the year, if you watch my channel, you saw that I would also occasionally stream, and so that time was also needed to be worked around too. I'd spend like 2 to 4 hours on those nights playing a game, not recording, and sometimes I'd even stream, then go and record immediately after, tired and perhaps bored of playing video games at that point. Granted, I wanted to stream more than record anyway, so it's not like it was a punishment or anything. I knew going into it that I needed to get it done on the same night. Another thing is that when things began to open back up, my freshly vaccinated ass was happy to go and re-enter having a social life, which was something that was missing, and admittedly gave me more time to do things when I didn't have much of a social life. Spending time with some friends at their homes, at a bar, whatever. That of course took up some nights, and again, had a reaction it caused for my recording schedule. One time I literally spent all afternoon and into the early morning with a group of friends for one of them's birthday. Got home about 2 a.m. and then went to record videos for my Sin series, which was due to be edited and uploaded the following day, and I probably didn't get to bed till about 4:30 that morning. Again, I did this to myself, but these deadlines were something constantly moving and needing to be fulfilled. Another instance of needing to be proactive in order to fulfill my desire to upload daily was when I had a week-long work trip to Denver, Colorado back in May. Due to that meaning I would be away from my home and away from my PC for recording and editing, the week prior I doubled up on recording, sometimes recording upward to 5 or 6 different videos a night, editing videos in an order, then uploading a multitude of unlisted videos to be made public later. It worked out well, but the extra time I spent doing that was admittedly exhausting, especially when I was doing homework and other work-related things while waiting for videos to render, for example. And one last obstacle, though it never really prevented me from keeping up with my daily upload goal, but did hinder my editing and recording schedule, was things that I couldn't prevent, such as my ISP acting up or power outages, both of which happened quite a few times in the last year. There were times that YouTube wouldn't be able to upload a video from my PC because my PC's bandwidth was not strong enough as a result of my ISP having internal issues beyond my control. On those days, I then had to upload my videos to MediaFire, then download them to my phone and upload it on my mobile T-Mobile data, which was fine, and sometimes actually faster, but still frustrating to do as an extra step. And regarding power outages, it happened a few times in the summer, but thankfully didn't last multiple days, but still made me alter my schedule to work around it. All these things were factors that had to be considered, and sometimes they worked out fine, but sometimes they were pretty exhausting to deal with. In conclusion here, I would say that I am beyond proud of the effort I put forth, but do realize that it was probably unnecessary. I'm also proud of this being the year that I hit 1,000 subscribers on the channel. I guess in short, I don't think I will continue the daily schedule forever because it really is a lot to do so. It's a lot to make a conscious schedule to abide by to do so, and the lack of sleep and motivation isn't something someone should inflict upon themselves like I found myself doing sometimes. I don't think it has had a huge effect on myself health-wise, except for giving me an unpredictable sleep schedule, but I imagine that doing this for years would likely make it different. And with that, I have actually been addicted to caffeine for years, and this probably did enable it a bit more, because commonly I had a feeling that I needed a caffeinated drink to keep up my mood and my motivation level when I'm recording. And though I joke about it lightheartedly and call it undisclosed drink, I do tend to be drinking something caffeinated when I'm recording or streaming, as referenced in pretty much every stream I would do. I think that the average person would need to not have much of a life outside of their channel to do this at a healthy level, because when I did things for my personal life, it meant moving my priorities around and cutting into my sleep schedule intentionally. I know this video sounds like a long ramble, because it is, but I think my point is that I don't see myself doing this forever, and given the sacrifices and changes I've had to make to accommodate myself, I wouldn't say that it's entirely worth it. I'm very happy with the channel's growth, but there is a cost to me personally. I'm certainly not ungrateful, but if this is the effort I have to put forth to have this growth consistently, then I guess I wouldn't view it as worth it, especially since nobody has ever asked me to put forth this much effort. I was the one who decided to do so. I think I'm going to end it off here, but I felt as though it would be a neat perspective to provide as a sort of retrospective view of the past year and what it meant for me, and for the channel, from my view, that I don't talk about publicly too much. Obviously, like anyone, I try to project the most positive form of myself and not often talk about the negative. But I'm not some fucking Instagram influencer who uses their child as a prop and shoves cameras in people's faces. I'm a dude with a YouTube channel who just likes to play video games. I'm going to be honest, and I figured this would probably be the best approach for honesty with you all, and I'm sure that everyone finds this reasonable and respectable. As I said too, I don't imagine the daily uploads are going to continue for the long term, so as always, keep an eye out on what I've got to say over on my socials, specifically Twitter, where you'll find me the most talking about what's going to be happening on the channel as we enter 2022. But anyway, that's going to do it for the video. Happy New Year everyone, and of course, thanks for listening and watching, and more than ever, take care.